She was laughed off the showroom floor like a joke from the countryside fair. Spat-on handed a rag to polish the supercars, had a latte dumped on her blouse in front of a sea of polished metal. They called her the farm mom, the help, the walking punchline for the supercar circus. What they didn't know, in just 30 minutes she'd return behind the wheel of a battle tank, crushing their showcase under steel tracks. Clara Wynne stepped onto the marble floors of the Beverly Royal Auto Show, California's shrine to wealth, where the elite paraded their Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and family dynasties like badges of divinity. The air was thick with cologne and contempt, the glass walls gleaming under chandeliers that cast a golden glow on supercars displayed like crown jewels. Clara, in a simple linen dress and scuffed ballet flats, arrived in a mud-splattered Ford F-150. Her presence a silent challenge to the polished chaos. She wandered the expo floor, her eyes sharp, her silence a storm brewing, disclosing nothing about her identity. The crowd tycoons, heiresses, and influencers sensed an outsider and pounced, their laughter a blade aimed at her modesty. Olivia Sterling, heiress of Sterling Motors, spotted Clara near a Pagani Huayra, her diamond-encrusted phone already live-streaming to thousands. "Look at this. Who let the farm wife into Beverly Royale?" She sneered, her voice dripping with venom, her blonde curls bouncing. "Honey, this isn't a truck rally." The crowd roared their champagne flutes, raised their phones filming the sport. Olivia zoomed in on Clara's dress, her voice sharp. "Is that linen? Did you sew it from a barn curtain?" The laughter swelled, a tidal wave of scorn, as influencers swarmed their followers, flooding the stream with laughing emojis. Clara's silence was a wall, her ballet flats scuffing the marble, but the live stream was a public flogging, each word a lash against her dignity. A tech mogul shouted, "Get her a tractor," sparking cheers, his Rolex glinting. The chandeliers burned brighter, the expo's glass walls reflecting the crowd's sadism. Their bets climbing $1,000, she'd flee in tears. The crowd's phones flashed, capturing her plain clothes as a punchline, their laughter a tidal wave of scorn. A group of tycoons staged a mock auction of Clara's Ford F-150, their voices loud with elitist disdain as they waved fake bidding paddles. Starting bid $1 for the rust bucket, one bellowed, his cufflinks glinting, sparking cheers. "Who wants the farm mom's junk heap?" another mocked, tossing a toy truck at Clara's feet, its plastic wheels skidding. The crowd chanted, "Sell it, sell it," their phones filming each taunt, a dart aimed at her pride. Vance Parker's mic boomed, "Our lot's finest scrap metal, folks." A socialite tossed a penny at Clara's flat, sneering, "Buy a new ride." Peasant Olivia clapped, her voice sharp, "Your truck's a landfill star, darling." The marble floor gleamed, Clara's silence a steel wall, but the auction was a public gutting, each bit a blade slashing her worth. The chandeliers cast a mocking glow, the crowd's bets spiking $1,500, she'd cry in shame. Lucas Grant, son of the city council chairman, joined the assault, his tailored suit crisp as he strutted toward Clara, his Bugatti Chiron gleaming behind him. "Let me guess. The maid of someone who stole an invite," he taunted, his grin a slash of arrogance. The crowd howled, their phones zooming in, capturing Clara's stillness against his venom. Lucas leaned in, his breath hot with latte and malice. "You don't belong here, sweetheart. Stick to scrubbing floors." To prove his point, he dangled the Bugatti's keys, daring her to sit inside, his eyes glinting with the trap security waited to drag her out. Clara declined, her silence a blade, but Lucas wasn't done. He uncapped his latte and poured it down her front, the liquid soaking her dress, dripping onto her flats. "You don't deserve to touch this leather," he spat, sparking laughter. The crowd chanted, made, their phones filming their bets spiking $2,000, she'd beg for mercy. The crowd chanted, made, their phones filming their bets spiking $2,000, she'd beg for mercy. A clique of socialites staged a vicious fashion critique, strutting around Clara like runway judges, their voices dripping with condescension. "Linen. A thrift store," Reject One shrieked, waving her clutch, her gown sparkling, sparking laughter. "Those flats are a crime against style." Another mocked, kicking dust at Clara's shoes. The crowd roared, chanting, "Redesign farm mom," their phones capturing the farce. Vance's mic amplified the cruelty. "Our guest needs a makeover, folks." A mogul tossed a cheap scarf at Clara's feet, sneering, "Cover that mess, darling." Lucas grinned, his voice sharp. "You're a walking fashion disaster." The chandeliers glinted like knives. Clara's dress soaked her silence a fortress, but the critique was a public flaying, each jab a wound to her dignity. The marble walls echoed with malice, the crowd's bets climbing $2,500 she'd flee in disgrace. A swarm of TikTok influencers, their outfits dripping with logos, cornered Clara near a Lamborghini Veneno, their phones raised for a poverty versus wealth photo op. "Stand here," Grandma one barked, shoving her against the car's polished hood, her dress smearing latte on the paint. The crowd cheered, their phones flashing as a girl with pink hair spat on Clara's flat, sneering. "Hey lady, this spot's scratched. Get to work." She thrust a car cleaning rag into Clara's hands, the fabric greasy, sparking laughter. The influencers posed their filters, amplifying Clara's stained dress, their captions. Brutal farm mom versus Lambo. The crowd's laughter was a storm, their bets climbing $3,000 she'd collapse in shame. Vance Parker, the event chairman, watched from a velvet rope, his silver hair gleaming, his voice booming. "Let's keep the brand image clean, folks." The chandeliers glinted like knives, Clara's silence a defiance, but the photo op was a public crucifixion, each snap a nail in her dignity. The influencers escalated their cruelty, staging a mock car wash skit to humiliate Clara further. "Bunny needs a job." A boy with a man bun shouted, tossing a sponge at her feet, its soap suds splattering her dress. "Wash the Lambo farm, Mom," another screamed, spraying her with a water bottle, the liquid soaking her hair. The crowd roared their phones, filming, chanting, "Scrub, scrub." Vance leaned into his mic, his voice oily. "Our new detailer's making a splash." A socialite tossed a bucket at Clara's feet, sneering, "Earn your keep, darling." The influencers danced, their live stream spiking with views, their followers flooding the chat with laughing emojis. The influencers danced, their live streams spiking with views, their followers flooding the chat with laughing emojis. A group of security guards, egged on by Olivia, staged a fake security check, their voices loud with performative suspicion as they surrounded Clara. "Show us your invite, farm." Mom one barked, his badge glinting, sparking cheers. "Bet she snuck in through the service door," another mocked, patting her down, his hands rough. The crowd chanted, "Trespasser, trespasser," their phones filming, each taunt a dart aimed at her legitimacy. Vance's mic boomed. "Our gatecrashers caught, folks." A socialite tossed a fake ID at Clara's feet, sneering, "Use this next time, loser." Olivia laughed, her voice sharp. "You're not even on the guest list, darling." The marble floor gleamed, Clara's silence a rebellion, but the security check was a public lynching, each word a blade slashing her worth. The chandeliers cast a mocking glow, the crowd's bets spiking $3,500 she'd be escorted out. Lucas wasn't finished. Lucas. He orchestrated a fake charity drive to mock Clara, his voice loud with performative pity. "Let's help the poor maid," he shouted, waving a stack of bills, sparking cheers. $5,000 if she polishes my Bugatti's rims," the crowd chanted. "Polish. Polish." Their phones filming as Lucas tossed a polishing cloth at Clara's feet, its edge grazing her flats. "Get on your knees, sweetheart," he sneered, his eyes glinting. Vance amplified the cruelty, his mic sharp. "Our charity case needs a purpose." A mogul threw a coin at Clara's feet, yelling, "Buy a new dress." "Peasant." The crowd's laughter was a tidal wave, their bets climbing $6,000 she'd grovel. The crowd's laughter was a tidal wave, their bets climbing $6,000 she'd grovel. A group of influencers staged a mock driver's test, their voices dripping with scorn as they waved a toy steering wheel at Clara. "Let's see if farm mom can drive one," shouted, tossing a plastic license at her feet, sparking laughter. "She probably stalls a stick shift," another mocked, miming a crash. The crowd chanted, "Fail, fail," their phones filming, each taunt a dart aimed at her competence. Vance's mic boomed. "Our rookie's ready to crash and burn." A mogul tossed a keychain at Clara's flat, sneering, "Stick to your tractor, darling." Lucas clapped, his voice sharp. "You'll never touch a real car." The chandeliers glinted, Clara's silence a defiance, but the driver's test was a public scourging, each jibe a wound to her skill. The marble walls echoed with malice, the crowd's bets spiking $7,000 she'd break under the mockery. Vance Parker, the event chairman, delivered the final blow, his voice booming across the expo floor as he approached Clara, his tailored suit gleaming under the lights. Let's not ruin the brand image, dear, he said, his smile a veneer of civility. Unless you brought a vehicle worth breathing the same air as these, which, judging by your outfit, I doubt you even know how to drive stick. The crowd erupted their phones, filming their laughter, a chorus of contempt. Stick to your tractor farm, Mom, a socialite shouted, waving her clutch. Vance gestured to security, his voice sharp. Escort her out if she lingers. The crowd's bets spiked $8,000 she'd be dragged away. Clara's silence was a storm cloud. Her dress soaked her flats, scuffed, but Vance's remarks were a public execution, each word a lash against her presence. The marble floor gleamed, the glass walls reflecting the crowd's sadism, their glee a suffocating blade. The crowd's cruelty peaked as a group of tycoons staged a mock job offer, their voices dripping with condescension as they waved a fake contract at Clara. Position car wash girl. One bellowed, his cigar smoke curling, sparking cheers. Salary 1 free latte. Another mocked, tossing a coffee cup at her feet, its lid cracking on the marble. The crowd chanted, "Sign it, Bunny," their phones filming each taunt, a dart aimed at her spirit. Vance's mic boomed. "Our new hire's ready to shine." A socialite tossed a name tag at Clara's feet, sneering, "Wear it, loser." Lucas clapped, his voice sharp. "Start scrubbing, maid." The ballroom's chandeliers glinted, Clara's silence a defiance, but the job offer was a public flaying, each word a blade slashing her dignity. The ballroom's chandeliers glinted, Clara's silence a defiance, but the job offer was a public flaying, each word a blade slashing her dignity. A clique of socialites staged a mock charity photo, their voices dripping with fake pity as they posed Clara like a prop. "Smile for the poor farm mom," one crooned, shoving her in front of a Ferrari, sparking laughter. "She's our charity case." Another mocked, tossing a donation jar at her feet, coins spilling. The crowd chanted, "Pity, pick, pity, pick," their phones filming each snap, a dart aimed at her strength. Vance's mic boomed, "Our poster girl for hardship, folks." A mogul tossed a tissue at Clara's flat, sneering, "Dry your tears, darling." Olivia grinned, her voice sharp. "You're perfect for our sob story." The marble floor gleamed, Clara's silence a rebellion. But the photo was a public execution, each flash a wound to her resolve. The chandeliers cast a mocking glow, the crowd's bets spiking $9,000 she'd collapse in shame. The chandeliers cast a mocking glow, the crowd's bets spiking $9,000 she'd collapse in shame. A group of moguls staged a mock public petition, their voices booming with performative outrage as they waved a clipboard to ban Clara from the expo. "Sign here to exile the farm mom," one shouted, brandishing a gold-plated pen, his cufflinks flashing sparking cheers. "She's an insult to our legacy," another mocked, tossing a fake ballot at her feet, its paper crumpling. The crowd chanted, ban her," their phones filming each signature a dart aimed at her existence. Vance's mic boomed, "Our community demands purity." A socialite pinned a rejected sticker on Clara's dress, sneering, "You're not our kind peasant." Lucas clapped, his voice sharp. "You're erased from our world, maid." The marble floor gleamed, Clara's silence a steel wall, but the petition was a public crucifixion, each name a blade slashing her place. The glass walls echoed with malice, the crowd's bets spiking $9,500 she'd flee in disgrace. The chandeliers glinted like knives, their sadism, a suffocating storm. Clara walked away, her soaked dress clinging to her skin, her ballet flats silent on the marble, her silence a vow of retribution. The crowd's jeers followed her, their phones filming their laughter a tidal wave of scorn. "Run back to your farm!" Olivia shouted, her live stream spiking with views. Lucas tossed a napkin at her back, sneering, "Wipe up, maid." The chandeliers burned brighter, the expo's air thick with their arrogance, their bets a monument to their hubris, $12,000 she'd never return. The chandeliers burned brighter, the expo's air thick with their arrogance, their bets a monument to their hubris, $12,000 she'd never return. A clique of influencers staged a mock award ceremony, their voices dripping with scorn as they presented Clara with a fake trophy for worst guest. "Accept your prize, farm mom," one shouted, waving a plastic cup, sparking laughter. For outstanding failure, another mocked, tossing a paper medal at her feet, its ribbon fraying. The crowd chanted, "Loser, loser," their phones filming each taunt a dart aimed at her worth. Vance's mic boomed, "Our champion of shame, folks." A socialite tossed a confetti bomb at Clara's flat, sneering, "Celebrate your disgrace, Bunny." Olivia grinned, her voice sharp. "You're the Expo's biggest joke." The marble floor gleamed Clara's silence, a rebellion, but the ceremony was a public flaying, each word a blade slashing her dignity. The glass walls echoed with malice, the crowd's bets spiking $13,000 she'd break under the mockery. The chandeliers cast a mocking glow, their sadism a relentless storm. Clara's eyes narrowed, her body coiled, her silence now a fuse burning down. The marble floor reflected the crowd's sadism. The glass walls a mirror to their cruelty, but Clara's resolve was a fire the elite couldn't fathom. The expo floor, once their playground, was about to become her battlefield. 30 minutes later, the ground shook, a deafening roar shattering the expo's polished chaos. An M1 Abrams battle tank, its steel tracks grinding, rolled through the main exhibition hall, its turret gleaming under the chandeliers, the Win Tactical Systems logo emblazoned on its hull. The crowd froze, their champagne flutes trembling, their phones dropping as Clara emerged from the cockpit, her linen dress still stained, her ballet flat scuffed, her presence a monolith. She seized the microphone, her voice a whisper that sliced the silence. "Sorry to crash your little party, boys and girls. Looks like I brought my own ride." The marble floor cracked under the tank's weight, the glass walls trembling as the crowd's jaws slackened their bets dust. Olivia's live stream crashed, her followers silent as Lucas's face paled, his Bugatti now a speck against Clara's war machine. The chandeliers dimmed as if bowing to her, the expo a tomb for their arrogance. The chandeliers dimmed as if bowing to her, the expo a tomb for their arrogance. Military personnel in the crowd saluted Clara, their hands snapping to their brows, their uniforms a silent tribute to her power. Commander Wynne, a captain, shouted, his voice cutting through the silence, his medals glinting. The salute spread, the expo shaking as veterans joined in their phones, filming a legend's rise. "She's our shield," a sergeant declared, his words a verdict on the elite's disgrace. The socialites' faces paled, their champagne forgotten, as Vance's mic lay idle, his role erased. Lucas's knees buckled, his wealth a memory, as Olivia's shriek faded, her legacy dust. The chandeliers burned brighter, Clara's silence a beacon that turned jeers to worship her tank, a flame that cleansed the expo. The crowd's bets scattered their cash, a relic of their folly. The marble walls echoed with her name, the audience's satisfaction soaring, the salute, a crown for Clara, her power, a scar on the elite's pride. Lucas screamed, his voice cracking, "You're insane! You'll get sued for this!" The crowd murmured, their phones filming their earlier scorn, replaced by fear. Clara flicked on a hologram screen, its glow casting documents across the expo floor, legal papers declaring her acquisition of the Beverly Royal grounds, signed by Clara Wynne, CEO of Win Tactical Systems. The crowd gasped, the name a thunderbolt. Clara Wynne, she declared, her voice ice. North America's #1 defense contractor, and as of today, I own this entire property, every car on display in violation of national security protocols. The socialites' faces fell, their phones trembling as Vance's jaw dropped, his authority erased. Military security in tactical gear stormed the hall, their boots echoing their presence a verdict. Military security in tactical gear stormed the hall, their boots echoing their presence a verdict. Clara's hologram shifted, exposing financial records of the elite's debts to Wynn Capital Holdings, each name a nail in their coffin. Sterling Motors, $50 million overdue, she announced, her voice a blade as Olivia's face crumpled, her empire exposed. Grant Estates, $30 million in default, she continued, Lucas's jaw slackening, his dynasty dust. The crowd gasped, their phones filming as the elite's secrets burned under the chandeliers. Vance's voice cracked, his defense ignored as the military's boots drowned him. The socialites' champagne glasses fell, their faces twisted in shame, their wealth a noose around their necks. The marble floor reflected their disgrace, Clara's tank a monument to her justice, her power a fire that consumed their lies. The audience's satisfaction piqued, the shaming a feast for justice, Clara's triumph a thunderbolt that shattered their arrogance. Clara's tank rolled forward, its tracks grinding, and with surgical precision she drove over Lucas's Bugatti Chiron, the $3 million supercar flattening into a twisted metal paste, its carbon fiber cracking like bones. The crowd screamed, their phones filming as Lucas fell to his knees, his face red, his wealth a memory. Clara pivoted the tank, its turret swiveling, and crushed Olivia's McLaren P1 against the exhibition wall, the car's sleek frame buckling, its paint peeling like a defeated flag. Olivia's shriek echoed her live stream, dead her legacy dust. The influencers scrambled their phones, dropping as military security ejected them, their screams fading into the night. The crowd's bets lay scattered their cash, a relic of their folly. The crowd's bets lay scattered their cash, a relic of their folly. A group of veterans in the crowd began chanting Clara's name, their voices a thunderous tribute to her battlefield legacy. Win, win. The unbreakable. A colonel roared, his fist raised, sparking cheers. The chant spread, the expo shaking as fighters joined in their phones, filming a hero's coronation. She's our Titan. A sergeant shouted, his words a verdict on the elite's shame. The socialites shrank back, their legacy erased as Vance's name was spat, his career over. Lucas's tears fell, his Bugatti a ruin as Olivia's empire crumbled, her pride dust. The chandeliers flickered, Clara's dress a crown, her power, a fire that burned eternal. The audience's satisfaction soared, the chant a testament to Clara's legend, a wound to the elite's pride that would never heal. The crowd's shock gave way to whispers, as a retired general in the audience stood, his medals glinting, his voice firm. That's Win, the ghost of the battlefield. The whispers spread the expo's marble walls, echoing her name. Clara Win, the slayer of dynasties. Clara stepped from the tank, her dress soaked but her presence untouchable, and addressed the shell-shocked crowd. Beverly Royale Auto Show will now become a survival and civilian tank driving academy exclusively for disabled children. As for those who laughed at me today, you'll need to buy a ticket if you ever want to set foot on my grounds again. The socialites' champagne glasses trembled, their faces pale as Vance's mic lay forgotten, his role a footnote. Military security flanked Clara, their rifles a silent vow, as the crowd's phones captured her triumph, their bets a joke against her power. Military security flanked Clara, their rifles a silent vow, as the crowd's phones captured her triumph, their bets a joke against her power. The expo floor transformed before their eyes, its marble scarred by tank tracks, its glass walls now a fortress for Clara's vision. Workers in Win Tactical Systems gear dismantled supercar displays, replacing them with training gear for children, their laughter a new anthem. The crowd's phones filmed the rebirth, their whispers reverent. This is Win's ground now. A veteran tossed his cap onto the floor, shouting for the kids, sparking cheers. The socialites' faces fell, their legacy erased as Lucas's sobs echoed his dynasty dust. The chandeliers dimmed Clara's tank, a shrine, her power a scar that bound the expo to her forever. The chandeliers dimmed Clara's tank, a shrine, her power a scar that bound the expo to her forever. A ceremonial unveiling of a Win Tactical Systems monument, a steel sculpture of a tank with Clara's initials, rose at the expo's center, its plaque reading "For the Unseen Warriors." The crowd cheered, their phones filming as veterans saluted, their hands steady, declaring Win's legacy. The socialites' absence was a verdict, their empire's dust. As Olivia's legacy crumbled, her pride shattered. Lucas's family fled, their assets gone, as Vance's name faded, his role erased. The marble floor reflected the monument's glow, Clara's dress, a beacon, her power, a fire that cleansed the expo. The audience's satisfaction soared, the unveiling a testament to Clara's legend, a wound to the elite's pride that would never heal. The glass walls trembled, the chandeliers flickering as the monument stood eternal, a scar on the elite's arrogance. The fallout was merciless. Olivia's humiliation videos spread globally, her sterling motor stock plummeting, her social media accounts banned from luxury car circles. Lucas's family lost their estate, Win Capital Holdings calling in hidden debts, forcing a fire sale of their assets, cars, yachts, and pride. Vance's career tanked, his chairman title stripped, his bias a public scar. The Beverly Royale Auto Show's legacy was erased, its glitz replaced by the rumble of tanks driven by children with dreams bigger than the elite's wallets. Clara refused every apology, her name a blade in the underground. In private clubs and penthouses, the elite whispered, Clara Win, the linen-clad specter, the one who crushed a dynasty. The expo floor, once a stage for cruelty, became a shrine to her tank, her tracks a myth that outlived the chandelier's glow. The expo floor, once a stage for cruelty, became a shrine to her tank, her tracks a myth that outlived the chandelier's glow. The elite faced a global reckoning, their names blacklisted from every luxury circuit, their shame looping on every screen. They mocked a warlord, a fighter hissed his voice a warning in car clubs. The crowd's phones replayed Clara's tank crushing the Bugatti, each view a nail in the elite's coffin. Olivia hid her invitations, revoked her empire a memory, as Lucas begged for loans, his pride dust. Vance's name was cursed, his legacy gone, as the veterans' cheers crowned Clara. The chandeliers dimmed the expo, a monument to her name, her power, a fire that burned eternal. The audience's satisfaction soared, the reckoning, a testament to Clara's legacy, a scar on the elite's pride that would never heal. Clara's exit was a coronation, her ballet flats silent on the cracked marble, her stained dress a banner of victory. The expo's glass walls reflected her shadow, the tank's tracks a permanent scar on the floor. Spectators recounted her strike, their voices hushed as if speaking her name too loudly might summon her. A mogul, his wealth gone, muttered, "She's no maid. She's a damn warlord." The general nodded, his eyes distant. Wins, the real deal, always was. The elite avoided the expo for months, its marble a reminder of their hubris. Olivia's McLaren and Lucas's Bugatti lay in a scrapyard, their defeat a scar on the underground. Clara's silence was her crown, her tank, her scepter, her legend, a warning that burned. In every car club, every showroom, her name became a mantra. "Who do you fear?" the elite asked, their voices low. "Fear." Clara Wynne came the reply, a vow, a warning. The expo's lights dimmed, its glitz faded, but Clara's story burned brighter, a beacon in the underground. Spectators who'd bet against her now told her tale, their voices tinged with awe. The moguls who'd laughed counted losses, their cash gone to Clara's silence. The general who'd seen her tank spoke of her in hushed tones, his stories laced with her name. Clara Wynne, 5 feet 3 inches, 121 pounds, had walked into a den of snakes and left it a ruin. The expo was hers, the marble, her throne, her tank, a legend that echoed in every engine's roar. The elite bowed, their dynasties dethroned, their pride ashes. She didn't need to scream. She didn't need to gloat. She let them drown in the wreckage of their arrogance. If you love to see the invisible girl drive a tank through the palace gates, like, share. Comment your favorite wrecking ball moment. And subscribe for more stories where the outsider doesn't just break the rules, she rewrites the whole battlefield.